Mateo. It's Friday, August 22nd, 2014, and the KKK is rallying in Ferguson to raise money for the hero cop that killed an unarmed man. Not even withstanding that, just the whole entire idea of the KKK rallying and protesting anything, to me is mind-blowing. But when I say it to other people, they say, oh, it's a constitutional right to protest. But if I am a convicted felon, I have a drug charge, I lose my constitutional right to bear arms and several other rights. Why is it that America's first terrorist group still has any constitutional rights at all? Why? Would we allow a believer of ISIS or of Al-Qaeda to protest on a Pentecostal church's doorstep? No, we wouldn't. We would take them into custody and we would interrogate them immediately and find out what's going on. Where's the rest of you at? We would find out where the rest of them was at and we would eradicate them. So why is it that the KKK can protest anything whatsoever when they have inflicted so much fear, pain, terror on the American people? Was there an apology note that we missed? Maybe Jesse Jackson has it. Maybe Obama has it. Maybe it should trickle down. Hopefully we'll be able to get it. Because that is not right. For them to even exist right now is not right. The KKK does not have to throw a Molotov cocktail through your window in order for it to be violent. They do not have to go and hang your neighbor in front of you in order for them to be violent. They've already committed tons of hate crimes. They already shown how violent they could be. So I don't think I have to even address the physical aspect of the violence, the history of the KKK on the American people. Black, white, Spanish, whatever. Because if a white lady's with a black guy, she's in the wrong. If a black lady's with an Asian guy, they're in the wrong. If a white man is with an Asian woman, she's in the wrong. So it is a war that we are in. It's not a physical one, but it's a mental one and it's a spiritual one. So when you start speaking of violence, our people is out there right now resorting to throwing sticks and stones like we are barbarians, prehistoric in nature, adding more violence to the extreme violence that we are already engulfed in. Stop. That makes no sense. Since when has peace been, let's do more violence? Oh, they're killing us, let's kill them too. But wait, that's what happens in the black community. That's the way we've been conditioned to react. So we need to change our way of thinking. We need to enlighten ourselves, enlighten one another. Because we are all interconnected. We are all part of the tree of life. You are my brother, and you are my sister. My mother passed away years ago. But my friends' mothers, I look at them as if they were mine. Because we are connected. Not here in the ego, but more in the spiritual, on a higher plane. We are all interconnected. Since 1866, the KKK has terrorized America, point blank. To stand by and witness the KKK rally in its very essence is akin to witnessing Hitler rally and form the Nazi party before the degradation that would be known as the Holocaust. I don't know about you, but I only know about me. I can only speak for myself. I can never stand by and watch genocide. If I was over there in Auschwitz, before the concentration camps were started, before when Hitler was starting to come to rise, I would take a bullet to the face for standing up what I believed in. And what I believe in is right, is just. So how can we stand by and watch this happen? How can you stand by and watch this happen? I know, you're probably thinking, little old me, what can I do? I can't do anything. And plus, we're all the way up here in New York. That's in Ferguson. That's not affecting us. Let's just turn this way and keep it moving. Would you watch the Holocaust happen right now? I doubt that. Would you watch Al-Qaeda come over here and protest outside Washington, D.C.? I doubt that. Me, my family has helped countless, hundreds, and thousands of others come up here from the Underground Railroad alongside the likes of Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, and countless others. And we talk about our history. So a lot of the families that are upstate New York, that are up here, a lot of the African families that were able to manage to get out of slavery, the African American families that were managed to get out of slavery, excuse me, we helped. So who am I as a person? Who am I as a Owens? Who am I as a Holmes to stand by and watch this go on? Sit back and turn my head the other way when the KKK is marching right now, rallying right now, congregating right now about you, about your eradication. Since you lost your right to bear arms, the KKK still has theirs. They're not violent anymore. So what I want to do, I want to create a petition to eradicate the KKK and expose all of its members. Like the way we would do if Al-Qaeda was here in America. If I were to go outside right now with a mask on, I would be looked at as posing a threat. They would say I may harm somebody, I'm going to steal, it's probable cause for me to get stopped. If I didn't have my identification card on me, I'm going straight to jail. But yet, a hate crime group can have their faces covered with masks, walking through the street, raising money for anything. Crazy. If a Spanish man aged 17 to 25 with a fitted hat backwards, pants sagging, he's leaving a store 11 o'clock at night, he gets profiled immediately. Why? Why? When the KKK can form a group of 20 people, hide and conceal their identities, and not get profiled for committing a hate crime, where are you going? What are you about to do that you gotta hide your face? They hang thousands, they burn crosses on lawns. I was 8 years old and my cousin called up from Georgia. They just moved down to Georgia. They called up my mother and my father from Georgia and said, there's a lawn, there's a cross right now burning on our lawn. This was in 80s, the 90s. But now it's 2015 and here we are. Still getting profiled. Down the block from my house, guys can't congregate. If 20 black individuals are down the street right now, that would get broken up immediately. I don't care if it was a little girl's birthday party and everybody was happy, smiling with smiles on their faces. It would get broken up immediately. Yet the KKK, the first terrorist group that America has known about, does not pose a threat. It's 2015. The KKK is still allowed to exist. How is that even possible? How is that forward progress? How is that progression? How is that beneficial for mankind? If the KKK was over in Britain right now, how would they respond? They would respond the same way I'm responding right now. They would say, why? And they would try to do their best to get rid of it. They wouldn't stand by with badges on, protecting them, holding their guns in case the blacks react. We're not the ones that created the hate crimes. We're not the ones that brought that to the forefront of our attention. We're the ones that tried to retaliate behind that. But what I'm saying is, we don't have to retaliate behind that physically. We can retaliate on a spiritual and on a mental level, because it is a war on a spiritual and on a mental level. You start throwing sticks, you start throwing stones, that's what they want you to do. Don't play into the enemy's hands. When you got a 3-year-old son that's getting up unknowingly, wrong for the pigmentation of his skin, and if your 3-year-old son is down south in front of the KKK, how would you feel? How would you feel? You wouldn't feel scared? You wouldn't want to lash out? You wouldn't want to react? White, black, Spanish, it doesn't matter. Asian, Indian, it doesn't matter. You're human, Look at your mother as a human, then you are connected to the tree of life, and we are all brothers and sisters. We're all related. Your uncle is mine, your aunt is mine, your mother is mine, and your father is mine. No way in the world should we sit back and do nothing and let that happen and let it continue. Let the KKK continue to exist and continue to put fear in all of us. Even though you don't want to admit it. If you were standing in front of the KKK, what would you do? Would you turn your head the other way and look the other way? If you seen Hitler rallying troops, would you turn your head and look the other way and say, no, it's only the Jews? They don't speak Spanish. It's only the Jews. They don't live in the hood. It's only the Jews. They don't suffer from poverty. Would you do that? I can't do that. And I will not fight. I will enlighten.